So, my name is a Brandon. A Brandon, according to my birth certificate, according to my marriage license, it says I am married. I was abused as a child, They say I am a mental health patient because I have been very patient, with my abusers, I never did really press any charges. I never went into a courtroom and filed a lawsuit to sue anyone for any of the abuse that they did to me, So since I am married and I was abused, according to the family code of Jefferson County, Birmingham, Alabama, there was a family court case that said in need of supervision. The family was in need of supervision, and about Brandon, because it is all about the children, right? And since the family code of Jefferson County says that Brandon is the father, and since the marriage license says Brandon is the husband, there is no reason for me to be treated like a baby daddy, a person that is not married, a person that, said that their mom was not worth marriage when the children were born, So, I don't know if you ever heard of sudden infant death syndrome, but in the year of 2006, I went into the room, and the child, Yatrell Johnson, was dying, He was half dead, His skin and his face, he looked it like he was dead, about to die, And it was I, Brandon Johnson, according to my marriage license, according to my birth certificate, it is the name that it says on my marriage license and on my birth certificate. And, I was the one that drove the car to the hospital, and I was the one that contacted the family court. As you can see in the link in the description and the videos of me contacting the family court, calling about the children, and they say the mom would have to explain, the mother would have to explain what it is that she has done. Because, it says that I saved Yatrell's life during October of 2006. When I went into the room and I saw that he was almost dead, when I saw that he was dying, when I saw that he was suffering from failure to thrive, sudden infant death syndrome, I took him to the children's hospital, I contacted the Department of Human Resources, the Alabama DHR, and they agreed with me that the child should go to the hospital, because it was my choice, to save a child from dying, And, when the child was about to die, I could have been on drugs getting high. not caring about the child and just let him die. I could have been drinking alcohol and getting drunk, not caring about the child and just let him die. You know, I could have been worrying about being a rapper or being famous or being a celebrity or a job or a career and being somewhere else and just let him die, you know, in those situations. But I did not, you know. And they said that the child and the children were in need of supervision, you know, because someone did something wrong. Someone did something they were not supposed to do, you know. And what was it that they did that they were not supposed to do? Okay, it is called a family court because the family, you know, when there is a mom and a dad and a child, the family would be guilty of doing something the family was not supposed to do. I was told that I did what I was supposed to do. I saw a child, you know, they said it's my child, you know. He was sick. It looked like sudden infant death syndrome and the symptoms of sudden infant death syndrome. I contacted child services myself, you know, the DHR. I showed that I cared about the children. I showed that I cared about his life, you know. I did not want the child to die, of course, because I could have just let him die. It was me that told the mom, the mother, the girl that was there with me, the person that was there with me, you know, that, hey, your trailer is sick. The baby looks like he is about to die. You know, I don't know what's wrong, you know, failure to thrive. I did not need a hospital to tell me that, you know. So I took him to a buffet, a restaurant, you know, all you can eat. He would not eat any food, you know, he would just drink soda, you know. He would just drink, you know, soda pop, the clear kind, Sprite is what it is called, you know. It made me mad and it made me upset because when he was drinking the soda and drinking the Sprite, you know, he was still sick and it was not helping him. I did not want the child to die, so I left from the restaurant, you know, the all-you-can-eat buffet, you know, because I wanted to make sure he had enough and that he could have any food he wanted to have, you know, from the buffet. You know, they had chicken, fish, beef, pork, you know, all the kinds of different food and vegetables and fruits, you know. When I was there, you know, he would not eat any of the food, you know. He would only drink soda, you know. So I know that it is not healthy or appropriate to just drink, you know, and not have a proper diet, you know. So I took the child, you know, to the children's hospital and you know, it was on the same street, you know, because the way that it is set up in Birmingham, the children's hospital is on the same street that the Alabama Department of Human Resources Child Services DHR building is on, you know. And I told them, what am I supposed to do with a 2-year-old child that cannot talk? He cannot speak. When he is sick, he doesn't say anything. He doesn't tell anyone what is wrong, you know. He was just dying, you know. And they agreed with me, yes, you should take the child to the hospital and you did what you were supposed to do. Instead of neglecting the child and letting him die, you tried to give the child some food, you know. You took him to an all-you-can-eat buffet, you know. you tried to let him choose whatever food or whatever he wanted, and all he wanted to do was drink, you know. They said the mom or the mother, you know, of the situation would have to explain, you know, what it is that, you know, the family, his family, her family, the family did. Because since I had the choice of ignoring the child and just letting him die, and I did not, you know, some people said I am a hero. I saved a child's life. I am a husband. I am married. But I have been being treated like a baby daddy when I am not a deadbeat baby daddy, because I am not a deadbeat baby daddy, and I am not a baby daddy because I am a husband, you know. I am a person that when I saw a child dying and they said it was my child, even though he could not talk, even though he could not speak, I took him to the restaurant so he could get food to eat. Even though he did not eat and even though he did not speak, I went to child services looking for answers to seek, you know, services for a child, you know. When I went to child services looking for answers to seek, the people at child services agreed with me that I should help the child, and they're glad for me because I took the child to the hospital and they gave him cookies to eat. I don't really know what happened after that, you know, because at the hospital, you know, they made us leave and said that, you know, family court would have a court date because the children were in need of supervision, you know. So I go to the court, you know, and instead of them saying, thank you, Brandon, for saving the child's life, you know, instead of the children saying, thank you, Brandon, for saving our life, you know, instead of the mom or the mother or their family or any of them, you know, saying, thank you, Brandon, for saving that baby's life, you could have just let him die. You could have just looked the other way. You could have been at the club with the strippers. You could have been somewhere trying to be a rapper or a singer. You could have been in someone's church, you know, trying to be a assistant pastor or a deacon or something like that. You could have been trying to write a book or something like that, but no, you didn't do any of that. You actually cared about a child. And when a child was about to die, you know, instead of them trying to make me look homeless, instead of them trying to make me look like some angry, violent, sexual predator, you know, they were supposed to say, thank you, Brandon, for helping that child, you know, because it doesn't matter what color he is. It doesn't matter what color she is. It doesn't matter where he came from. And it doesn't matter where she came from. But a life debt is a life debt, you know. And some people say when you save a child's life, their family owes you a life debt, Brandon. That child owes you a life debt, Brandon. Their whole family owes you a life debt. Their whole species owes you a life debt. Because no matter how much they laughed at you, no matter how angry they tried to make you, no matter how many times they tried to lock you up, no matter how many times I was abused, it was me and my choice. October of 2006, when Yachele was sick, I chose seeking services help for the child, you know, and there was no fight or no violence or any of that, you know. And they know about it because, you know, it was, you know, the mom, the mother, you know, of the situation, she never had a driver's license. No. She did not drive a car to DHR, Department of Human Resources, Child Services. No. She did not drive a car to the children's hospital, you know, for the child to get medical assistance. No. Because since I am a husband and I am the one that the family court of Jefferson County says is the father of the children, I was just doing my job as the person that they called the father and the husband of actually being there to make sure that the child, you know, did not die because, you know, I did not want the child to die, you know. So, you know, I go to court, you know, they evaluated me, they watched me, you know, because this was in the year of 2006, you know. So, you know, almost 18 years later, they noticed that, hey, I have no child abuse court cases. I have no violent or sexual abuse against anyone. You know, there are no victims that ever came into a courtroom and said that I did any bad to them, you know, sexual abuse, you know, violent abuse, you know, or that I am not the bad guy, you know, or that I actually saved a child's life during October of 2006. And even the children did not say thank you because they could have died, you know. So, you know, they gave me what you call unsupervised visitation. And they said the reason why they gave me unsupervised visitation is because since no one was there during October of 2006, when Yatrell was sick and almost died, it was evidence that I did not need to be monitored and I did not need supervised visitation because if a child was sick around me and I was there, I would take the child to the hospital or I would contact child services myself, you know. And there's videos of me calling on the phone to the family court and, you know, asking about the children and information. So it shows that, you know, even if it was just me and no one else, you know, that I always took proper care of the children and I would not neglect them and I would not just let them die, you know. And that I never questioned or asked for a blood test or a paternity test or any of those situations. And, you know, I never blamed or pressed charges against the mother, the mom, or the family, or any of that. So, you know, whatever they did, the other people, you know, to make the children sick, it's not because of me, you know, that way. So during that visitation, it was unsupervised visitation, of course, you know. They say, you know, I saved another child's life. A child called the Lord Gerald Johnson, Lord Gerald Johnson, Lord. Well, you know, the child that they said was Yatrell Johnson was pushing him out of the bed. You know, it's like he wanted to kill Lord Gerald Johnson. And I don't know why, you know. because I did not want to kill anyone, you know. I am not a murderer, you know. Some people brag on how many people they killed, you know. Some people brag on killing people in a war. Some people brag on killing people in a street. Some people brag on killing people in a battle. But not me, you know. I was too busy paying attention to the children and trying to make sure that the children were saved from each other, you know. Because when the child that they said was Yatrell Johnson was trying to push Lord Gerald Johnson out of a bed, and Lord Gerald Johnson was, you know, a baby at the time, he could not even really walk, you know. I stopped Yatrell Johnson from pushing Lord Gerald Johnson out of the bed, you know. The fire truck and the ambulance, you know, came to the address, you know. I believe it may have been at 821 47th Street North, Birmingham, Alabama. There was an apartment, you know. The address may have been 821 47th Street North in Birmingham, Alabama. And the child that they said was Yatrell Johnson was trying to kill the child, you know, that they said was Lord Gerald Johnson. And it's crazy. I don't know why they did it, you know. It was like, you know, some crazy Jacob and Esau, Cain and Abel type situation, you know. So I stopped, you know, I stopped the child that they said was Yatrell Johnson from killing the child that they said was Lord Gerald Johnson. So at this point, you know, some people said, so if you saved Yatrell's life when he was about to die from sudden infant death syndrome and failed to thrive, does that mean that Yatrell Johnson owes you a life debt? And does that mean that a Brandon Johnson is a hero, a husband, a dad, you know? But he has not been being treated the way that he should have been being treated, you know, as a husband, as a hero, as a dad. So, you know, they say when I saved Lord Gerald Johnson's life from being, you know, the same fate, sudden infant death syndrome, because if your brother, Yatrell, tried to push you out of the bed as a baby, and you fell and broke your head, you know, bust your head, you know, stuff like that, you know, and was not alive anymore and would have been dead if it was not for me being there to stop him from pushing the baby out of the bed, you know. Some people said I am a hero and that I saved both of those children. Because when I took that child to the hospital, you know, they said, you know, I could have been at the club. I could have been at the mall, at the strip club, you know. I could have been somewhere on TV, on the radio, trying to be rich and famous, but I was somewhere actually caring about the children, you know. So they said I saved Yatrell's life, you know. I should have been treated like a hero. I should have been treated like a husband. I should have been treated like a dad, you know. That the family has something to explain. The moms have something to explain. Because unless you hate children, you would love a person that saved the child from sudden infant death syndrome instead of just looking the other way. Unless you hate children, you would love a person like a Brandon Johnson that during the month of October of 2006, I took a child to the hospital and I was not ashamed to contact Child Services Alabama Department of Human Resources, and I didn't care if they said I'm ugly or if they said that I'm crazy or if they said that I'm poor. You would love a person that cared about children. And I did not have sex with those children. And I did not ever ask any of those children for any money. You would love a person, with that kind of behavior, is what I was told. And it was the same way with Trinity Johnson. During that pregnancy, and it was at 1609 6th Street North, Apartment X in Birmingham, Alabama. And they said that I saved Trinity from being poisoned by alcohol before she was born. Because according to the family court of Jefferson County and according to their family and the people, when someone tried to tell, her mom to have an abortion at home and that she could drink wine and a lot of alcohol while she was pregnant, I was the one that said no. And I took the wine bottle and the alcohol out of the apartment. And I told the mom not to do it. I told her not to drink the alcohol, Trinity's mom, because, they influenced her to drink wine and alcohol, and they wanted her, to have an abortion and a miscarriage, So, they said I saved Trinity from being poisoned by alcohol before she was born, So some people say, oh, yeah, that means that Trinity owes you a life debt, Brandon. That means all three of them children owe you their life and their soul forever. Because it was I, the one, that when they were children, saving their life. So they owe me a life debt. And it's like, there's 3 lifetimes. There's 3 life debts. Because if you save Trinity from alcohol poisoning and you stop the mom from being influenced to drink alcohol and kill her own baby by abortion by drinking wine, and you stopped her from doing it, that means you saved the mom's life and the baby's life because, you stopped the mom from murdering her own child. And you stopped Trinity from being murdered from alcohol poisoning while the mom was pregnant at 1609 6th Street North, Apartment X. I was supposed to be treated like the husband, like the hero, and not like some deadbeat baby daddy or some homeless guy. That way. And it was like, it's the same thing, because when you stop the Lord Gerald Johnson from falling out the bed when, the other baby was trying to push him out, it's like you saved him. So it's like, the mom of those children, something about the mom of the children, they was like, doesn't seem right. And I was like, wait, if you saved her child's life, shouldn't the mom be calling you a hero, Brandon? Shouldn't Trinity's mom be telling everyone that Brandon saved my baby's life? They told me to drink alcohol. They told me to drink wine. They told me to have an abortion. But Brandon said, no, don't drink the wine. Just have the baby anyway. You do not want to have an abortion and you do not want to kill a baby. So anyone that claims to be Trinity's mom, the way that I was told, her character doesn't match and doesn't seem right if she is not telling the truth about it was a Brandon that told them not to drink alcohol and told them not to drink wine and told them not to have an abortion while they are pregnant. Because Trinity could have died from those situations. So something is wrong if Trinity's mom is not, making it known to everyone the truth about what Brandon actually did while she was pregnant. And of course, you know, while Trinity's mom was pregnant, Brandon did not make her have a miscarriage by fighting or abusing her and making her baby die. So yeah, that part too. So they said they actually owe me a life debt for the mom and the children. And it was the same thing with Lord Gerald Johnson, because in order for him to be born, that also means that Brandon did not abuse or make the mom have a miscarriage while she was pregnant from abusing her or from, you know, doing any kind of violent, bad activity that would have made her have a miscarriage. So the mom of Lord Gerald Johnson, it's undeniable that she would have to tell the truth about a Brandon, because if a Brandon is the one, like when a person has a baby, if she said that Gerald is her bundle of joy, and the only reason he would have been alive is because I did not make her have an abortion, I did not make her have a miscarriage, I did not fight her while she was pregnant and abuse her and make her end up having a miscarriage from being abused by me, the mom would have to tell the truth about how was Lord Gerald Johnson born. And the truth would be, Lord Gerald Johnson was born because Brandon Johnson did not beat up the mom or make her have a miscarriage while she was pregnant, And Brandon Johnson kept watering the seed and kept loving the family and kept, taking the pain and the abuse, ever since Brandon was a child. Being molested, being abused, being used. And when he said that he didn't want to have more than one child and he only wanted one child, Brandon was abused while he was married. Because instead of being treated like the husband, instead of being treated like the dad, instead of being respected for what he said, he only wanted one child, the family would have to explain whose idea was it to have more than one child. It was not mine. It was not my idea. So, they said someone owes me a life debt. More than one person owes me a life debt is what they said. So, it's what they said, And that the family would have to explain what they plan on doing about it. Because it seemed like their bills are overdue on that life debt policy. So, when I saved Yatrail's life during October of 2006, and I took him to the hospital and I went to the court dates and, I did all that paperwork in the court. Someone said that Yatrail's mom and family owes Brandon a life debt. Because when I was the one that was there at the hospital, when Trinity was born, when Lord Gerald was born, and when Yatrail Johnson was born, so I did not make an abortion, and I did not make a miscarriage, and I did not make any of the children sick, Someone says that since I have a marriage license and I am married, I'm supposed to be treated like the husband, the dad, and a hero. Because since I was actually there, not at the club, not at someone else's business, not at someone else's job, not trying to be rich, not trying to be famous, not trying to be, popular. I was actually there when the children were born. I was actually at the hospital, And since I am married, and since I was abused, just because somebody was abused is no excuse. Just because somebody, was picked on is no excuse, Just because someone says they got molested is no excuse, Because I was picked on, I was abused, I was molested, and I was the youngest person in the residence that they had me in, you know, as a child. When you look at the birth certificates and stuff, it'll say Brandon Johnson was the youngest one of the family that they said that was his family that he was in the house with, you know. And it was the same way. Because sometime after 1996, you know, I don't know the exact year, but there was a police report, you know, where the police came out. And the people that they said was brothers, they said Antoine Johnson and Aldrin Johnson was trying to shoot and kill each other with guns. And I was the one that took the gun and hid the gun, and I stopped them from killing each other. So they said Antoine Johnson and Aldrin Johnson both owe me a life debt. Because some people said I saved their life that day. Because even though both of them abused me, when they were trying to kill each other, I did not want them to die, you know? So there's no excuse for the abuse, you know, that they did to me. Because Brandon could have just let them get the guns and shoot and kill each other, and he could have let both of them die. But I did not. You know, that way. So it doesn't really matter if someone tried to tear up a piece of paper. It doesn't matter if someone tried to, you know, erase or delete something out of a computer. It doesn't really matter, because when they say actions speak louder than words, I am the one that took the gun and hid it from Antoine. I am the one that when the police was there, I told the police where the gun was. And I can't, but you know, they may have said that I am a hero that day. They said I stopped a person from being killed, and I stopped the person from having a life sentence in jail for being a murderer, you know. And so there was no reason for an appeal, you know. Because when you do it right the first time, you don't have to worry about filing an appeal to prove it was self-defense. When you do it the Brandon Johnson way, you know, it's what they, you know, communicated to me. So when I was at 2501 20th Street, Ensley, and, you know, as a brother, you know, that's what they said, that I was a brother. They said I already did my brotherly duties. Because when I stopped a brother, you know, from going to jail for life for murder of another person, because I hid the gun, they said that was brotherly love of Brandon. Because that guy could have went to jail that day for the rest of his life for killing his own brother. Thank God that I was there to hide the gun, you know, that way. The other guy could have been dead from being murdered that day. It was like he owes me a life debt too. Thank God I was there that day to stop him from being killed, you know, that way. They said when the children were born and, you know, sudden infant death syndrome with our trail, they said, thank God I was there that day. And I took the child to the hospital and I contacted child services, you know. Because, yeah, when a child can't talk and won't mind and just mean to you and disrespectful to you and don't want to follow the rules, and all he wanted to do was hurt his brothers and his family, maybe they were in need of supervision. Because of me being abused and disrespected and not being treated like the husband and not being treated like the dad, when I said I only wanted one child, it was like, well, since somebody wanted other people involved so much, then they should love that the family court is involved. They should love that a judge is telling them when they can and can't see their children. They should love that someone tell them that they got to visit at the courthouse on camera and stuff like that, since they didn't like doing it the Brandon Johnson way. They should love the other people controlling them and the children. Because when Brandon Johnson was doing it the right way and no one else was there, and I took the child to the buffet, all you can eat, whatever you wanted, Yatrail's mom, all of that, they were there, they know it. Since Brandon Johnson's way was not good enough for them, then they would have to explain what the problem is with what Brandon Johnson was doing, well, that way. That's what I was told, about their family. So, while all of this was going on, it made me mad, because, imagine the story of a Brandon Johnson, right? Getting married, before the age of 21. Never having any other baby mamas or children, at all, before or after April 30th of 2004, the marriage license date, And they had said that, on the night of April 30th of 2004, somebody had told me that, about the marriage situation. They said it was some dude or somebody that they called Jermel or Jarmel or Jamel or something like that. They said they wanted to kill Yatrail because of what Jamel looks like. And somebody tried to influence the mom of Yatrail to get an abortion because of what Yatrail looks like. I am a witness. I was there. I heard the girl, she told me to my face, that something wanted her to get an abortion and kill Yatrail because of what Jamel looks like. Because of what Jamel looks like. Because of another person's looks. And I was the one that said, no, don't do it. It doesn't matter what Jamel looks like. Yatrail should not have to die just because of what Jamel looks like. And the mom, that was there, I guess she listened to me, because if Yatrail was actually born, even if he got sick, even if he chose to do whatever he wanted to do with his life, because he would be one of those do what you want to type of people, is, the way it seemed, because there was a guy and he said his name was Yatrail, and, they said he was, the child, and, he would say, do what you want to. So, I guess it's the way that he thinks. Only he can explain his own choices. But me and my choice was that, I did not want the child to die because of what Jamel looks like. It's crazy. I don't care what Jamel looks like. If a girl was pregnant with a baby and a child, whatever Jamel looks like is no excuse for having an abortion. So, I told Yatrail's mom not to have an abortion because whether she likes what Jamel looks like or whether she does not like what Jamel looks like. That's not a good reason for having an abortion and murdering and sacrificing a child. So, that's what y'all trail should know and the family should know, because, someone in their family and in their group, gave those people ideas about sacrificing children and abortions and killing babies. And someone in their family and in their group told them to disrespect me. And even though I said I only wanted one child, to have more children anyway. And it was not my idea. So I did not make bad karma. And that's what the children should know. And sometimes the truth hurts is what they say. It might hurt. It might hurt the mom. It might hurt the family. It might hurt the children. But the only people that they can blame is the family. Their family. The people that they chose to listen to. Because when Brandon said only one child, the family court said the mom would have to file a petition for contempt, and the mom would have to come to court and explain, since Brandon said he only wanted one child, whoever the mom is, because I don't know, what they are talking about. Whether it was their mom or their mom's mom, I don't know which mom they're talking about, But they was like, whoever idea it was to have more than one child would have to come to the family court and explain why is it that when Brandon said he only wanted one child, why did their family try to make me look like a criminal? Why did their family try to make me look like some homeless bum? Why did their family try to make me look like some crazy person yelling in the street? Why did their family tell all them lies on me? Because how did the child get to the hospital if they were sick? Taking a child to the hospital is not neglect. He saved the child's life when he took the child to the hospital. Yeah, that way. Somebody lied. So in order to say you're the mom of the children, you can't even say you're the mom of the children unless you first say it's because of Brandon why the children were, saved in the first place. Because if he would have just let the child die, that type of situation. But no, Brandon took the child to the hospital. Brandon called DHR. Brandon called DHR. Brandon called child services. Because that's what you're supposed to do when a child has problems. That's what you're supposed to do when a child needs services. You're supposed to contact child services when a child needs services. You're supposed to contact DHR, when someone did something concerning a child and the child is not able to help themselves or others. That way. So they was like, yeah, though the mom would have to explain, because if God gave you a husband, if God gave you a provider, someone that would drive the children to the hospital, someone that would take the children to the buffet to provide for them all the food to eat, someone that if a child was dying, he would not let the child die, but he would actually be there with the child, go to every court date, all of that. They said, well, then the mom and the family would have to explain why they didn't appreciate what God gave them. Because when a Brandon Johnson came to a family, years ago, with a marriage license with a date of 2004, April 30th, when a Brandon Johnson doesn't have any other baby mamas, when he did not make a fake religion and he did not make any sister wives or concubines or make any excuse to do more than one, I was told that their family would have to explain, why did you not call a Brandon a hero? Why have you not been telling people that a Brandon is the one that saved those children's life? Why have you not been telling people that a Brandon is the one that when the children were born, when they tried to give Trinity, you know, all of those problems by drinking alcohol while the mom was pregnant, or Brendan was the one that told the mom not to do it. When Yatrell, you know, before he was even born, and the girl was talking about Jamel and what Jamel looked like, Brendan was the one that told her not to get an abortion. And whatever the situation was with Lord Gerald Johnson, I never really did understand, you know, what would be going on in those situations. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because since he was the second child, I never did really understand how it ever was a second child when I said I did not want more than one child. So they was like the mom and the family of the children would have to explain, you know, their family planning. Since a Brendan is a dad and a husband and all of that, you know, according to the family court of Jefferson County, why did their family disrespect me? Why did those people disrespect me? You know, it's not in my karma that way. So, you know, there was a setup, you know, about in a hotel and with church and stuff like that. It was like, a Brandon, you said you got married and you got married before April 30th of 2004, right? And I was like, yeah, that's what I said. I said that I got married before April 30th of 2004, you know. And they said it's something about marriage fraud and switching in and switching out and stuff like that, and like some kind of fake family planning and a fake family, right? I'm like, yeah, somebody did something they weren't supposed to do, because like they was talking about you supposed to be Rachel and you supposed to be Leah and talking about different stuff, you know. And somebody did something wrong. They were like, what happened? They tried to make me kill Yatrell on April 30th of 2004. You know, that's what they explained to me. They was like, what happened? On April 30th of 2004, when they got the marriage license and they had that marriage ceremony, it was that Antoine and that Aldrin dude and that Letisa and that Maryland lady, you know, that they was with, you know. They tried to set me up, you know. How? The girl that was at the hotel with me, you know, that night, and then she was supposed to be pregnant and stuff, she was being mean to me or whatever, and, you know, she tried to make me fight her, you know, in the hotel. Something about a girl kept trying to make me fight her in a hotel. It was like she didn't want the baby to be born, and she wanted me to fight her in a hotel. It was like she was going to try to kill the baby, and she wanted me to fight her in the hotel so that the police could come. After the police came, they was going to try to kill the baby and make it look like it was a miscarriage. They tried to make it look like I abused and fought my wife on the same day that I got married and that I killed the baby, and they wanted me to be charged with murder, you know. And they planned it because they was like, it was a dude named Jeremy Lewis Williams, and he was charged with murder and got a life sentence. And the people in her family said he gonna get what Jeremy got. He gonna get charged with murder too. So it was like they did some kind of stuff on April 30th of 2004, and the girl did not have sex with me on the night of April 30th of 2004. And it was dumb because it was like too little too late, because I was already actually married before then, you know, the right way, the spiritual marriage with God as my witness. So it was like she tried to kill her own baby or some situation like that, or something about what that family did. And I don't want nothing to do with their witchcraft or the bad stuff that they did for some dude named Jeremy Lewis Williams or their family. Because they would have to explain why I haven't been given credit for being the hero that I am when I saved those children. So the way it was explained to me is okay, on April 30th, you know, the girl kept trying to make me mad and make me upset, you know what I'm saying? Because, well, think about it. How is it that you have sex with a girl every day, every day, every day, every day, and then all of a sudden on April 30th, the day of the marriage certificate or whatever, and then they had some kind of ceremony at a George Ward Park and somebody else paid for a hotel room. You know, that's what made it seem like a setup because somebody else paid for all of that stuff. Somebody else bought a hotel room at a specific place. Somebody else set it up on a specific date, you know. Somebody else set it up. And they was like, all you got to do is not have sex with him and then he going to get mad because when he used to getting it all the time and then you pull it away, he going to get mad and fight and then you can get rid of the baby and stuff. And they was like, somebody was like, they wanted to get rid of the baby because they know something was going to be wrong with the situation. Because somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do. They didn't know if it was going to be sudden infant death syndrome. They didn't know if the child was going to die. They didn't know what was going to happen, but they know something bad was going to happen and they was not going to be able to blame a Brandon for it. And they were not supposed to blame, they were not supposed to blame a Brandon for it because it was not a Brandon's fault, So they was like somebody was doing sick stuff with people that they shouldn't have been doing sick stuff with, and they tried to use me as a cover-up. On the night of April 30th of 2004, they tried to make me fight a girl in a hotel room, a pregnant mom, a pregnant mother, whatever you call it. They said, she is guilty if she doesn't tell the truth about the situation. Because since it was her family and her child and her people that tried to set me up, and it's all about the children, it was like, Brandon didn't fight that girl at all on April 30th of 2004. Brandon didn't have any sex. Brandon didn't even, Brandon was treated like shit the whole time. I was treated like garbage. That's the truth. So, somebody loved me the right way or whatever. It's like they just played a game with the identities or something like that. They don't really know how they did it or whatever, but they should know that. Everyone should know this shit. What the truth is. And they told me in the court, they was like, you supposed to be mad, Brandon. You supposed to be mad. Because other people was like, I ain't never seen nobody that after all of the abuse and molestation and the way you was treated, and then, that night of April 30th of 2004, you didn't even have sex. You didn't even get your dick sucked. You didn't even have organs. You didn't get shit out the deal. They tried to make you fight a girl so that she can get rid of a baby and hide the evidence that something, it ain't crazy. Just because some dude named Jeremy Lewis Williams was a child molester and abused children and went to jail for murder, they wanted me to look bad. But all I look like is a person that saved 3 children's life and then saved a mom life because, since I did not murder the mom, since I did not make her have a miscarriage, since I did not make her have an abortion, since I told her not to have an abortion, I gave her every chance to save a child's life and to save her own life. And I always told her right. So, there's phone calls in the links in the description, of me calling the family court and stuff like that. So, if you see me in the street yelling or you see me in the street screaming or you ever heard me saying stuff, try to understand. If I was your son and I was your child, or if you was me and somebody did this stuff to you, a whole Sikh family, wouldn't you be mad? Wouldn't you be upset? So just because a family and a group of people did bad stuff to me, I wanted everybody to know, no matter what color you are, no matter what shape you are, no matter what size you are, it's no reason for me to be mad at you, and it's no reason for me to be abusive towards you, and that's why I don't have any victims. Because what I do understand is just because some group of people tried to be mean to me and they tried to set me up, I did not abuse anyone, and I did not go around giving people abortions or miscarriages or shooting guns at people or any of that, because it is not my fault what other people did when they made bad karma, and it is not your fault, no matter what color you are, if you did not have anything to do with the bad actions that other people did, even if they call themselves your family. So I love you all, believe me, I do. But according to the videos and the phone calls, the family court of Jefferson County said the mom and her family would have to explain, because when he said he only wanted one child, I am not ashamed and that someone disrespected